Hello everyone, in this stream I'm going to show you how to build a simple mission for Arma. I'm just going to set up a basic mission, so I've created a new clean mission file and I've selected the Malden map, which is a free map on Arma 3. I'm going to start with the airbase and I'm going to build that airbase on the island of Moray in the northwestern corner. Cool, let's get into it. The first thing I want to do is I want to go to my file save as and give my mission file a name. So if I give a name, um, just going to quickly make a new name, call it basic underscore. Save it. Okay, so now it's saved. Open up a new, and now I can start building my mission file. So if you go to the top to attribute and then general, you're going to start working through title and so on. So basic training folder. The picture I'm going to link in with another feature. I don't have to acquire the C for this. The independent up for and the blue teams. I want to show the map. UAV is required. Advanced flight. I'm gonna put that on. Don't do anything for the initiation, and I want to binarize this. So there's a small description there of why it's useful. That's all for that screen. Next, environment. Arma allows you to change the date, which is pretty cool. That's June, and it's the 23rd here today. Weather usually has a big impact on your frame, so at the start of a mission file off the weather effects. It just makes it run a lot smoother. Manual override also that no weather effect selected. And weather forecast changes all, and I'm going to say okay. That will be multi mission file. You can select mission file options. I'd like to select is a co. The mini 0. This I usually disable. Then the player slots may have AI in if there is no other. These AI die. That's why I like to turn it off. It's going to repeat the message. Training. Hold. Respawns is very important. You'll be able to respawn. You have to activate options here. I like to say respawn on position of death, group. All of these, yeah, I like to say position. Then you can options. I don't want to select the loadout because if you build custom, then that will override it. Respawn position, show respawn. I like respawn counter. I want to put a little delay respawn. Mechanics of the game. A scoreboard can manually respawn. If there's something wrong with the glitch, you want to be able to respawn. If I select here respawn on a custom position, I am going to also say select respawn position, and then in the mission file I'm going to put a few spawn options. So that you can do revive, also important. So if your player goes down, you want to revive, or if a player goes down, you want to be able to revive that player. So I'm going to say controlled by player actions, or we can, for this training mission file, we can say enabled for all players. We can say that you have to be a medic, and I'm not going to use any one of these. Revive duration, you can push it up a little bit. Force respawn duration, that's fine. Incapacity mode, I like to keep it on basic. Bleed out duration, we can push this up a little bit. This is the time it takes for your character to bleed out. Okay, so we can make that 5 minutes. This just helps so that a medic can get to you. Okay. Alright. In the medic to revive you. Okay. The next thing we're looking at is performance. On this one, I like to say garbage collection. So this performance is how the mission file in objects that have, died or have been abandoned. Thing. If you set this up correctly and efficiently, it can keep your mission file running faster for longer. If there's a lot of objects around the mission file and it does not get recycled, then it can make your mission file slow and it can eat up your RAM. So I'm just going to say garbage collection, all objects, all scenario objects, your corpses. So I'm going to make a limit of 5. Minimum delay, I'm just going to put here seconds. Delay, so this is how long they stay in the mission file. Same with vehicle wrecks, scenarios in objects. I want 5 vehicle wrecks. Minimum delay 20 seconds. Maximum delay, let's make it 1 minute. Or we can make this a little bit longer if you maybe want to steal the guy's stuff on the ground. Enable dynamic simulation, so it turns on, so that's as you come towards the area, the enemy or the AI will activate in that area. I usually like to put this at 600, manned vehicles at 400, props I leave like that, and limit by view distance, yeah, that's fine. Okay, just want to check it's all okay. All those settings have been set. Tools, settings. Okay, add-on options is important. So you have 2 options. If you select the server, you only change your local settings. If you want to change the mission file, you have to go to mission itself. Just running through these settings, I just want to make sure advanced ballistics is on. If you have ace loaded, you want your advanced ballistics to be on. That is swerving, drops, all those kind of cool effects. Okay. Advanced fatigue. For a training mission, I usually like to take it off. We don't really need advanced fatigue for a training mission. Advanced throwing, that's fine. Ace arsenal, don't want to invert the controls. I'm just running quickly through these. You can play around with this in your own time. Okay, punish non-specialist, timers, that's fine. If you want to use earplugs, you have to enable the combat deafness. If you take this off, then your earplugs won't work. And you can also add your earplugs to the units. If you don't like the ear ringing, you can disable the earplugs. Here you can also set what effect earplug should have. Okay. The important one for me is the Ace Medical, as it makes a big difference to your gameplay. So limping on open wounds, I don't like the limp effects. For very hardcore service, it's fine, but not for this training mission. Okay, fractures, also don't want fractures, especially if we're training in vehicles and those kind of things. Fracture chance, these kind of things I want to. Unconscious wake up chance, this I want to put high. So this is if someone goes down, what's the chances they're going to get back up. Okay, epinephrine wake up chance boost, can set this high as well. Okay, fatal damage source, only hard large hit, sum of the trauma. Okay, play critical damage threshold, we can put this up a bit. AI critical damage threshold. So what I want to do here is the player can make a little bit more punishment than the AI would. Pain unconscious chance, can push that up. Medic AI, that's cool. Enable blood drops, I like to disable this one as it has a adverse effect on your frames, and I also don't like a lot of litter objects lying around. The blood lifetime, this we can also make short. Okay, feedback, I like the chromatic aberration, the color is fading, and okay, I like to be able to work on myself. I take the litter off again, it has to do with frames, has to do with optimizing your mission file for smooth performance, and then also take the litter lifetime down. So I'm just going to make this one. Okay. Player fatal injuries. Never. AI fatal injuries, never. In cardiac arrest, so if he's on the ground and he's out and he gets hit again, AI yeah, want to keep this on, it makes it a little bit more realistic. For these settings I'm putting up now, I'm just going to override everything. So it overrides what the client is selecting. Okay. And consciousness. So you can die in cardiac arrest. Cardiac arrest time, this I want to push up so that a medic can get to you if you go down. Bleeding coefficient, that's fine. Advanced diagnosis. Yeah, that's fine. This one I like to take off. I disabled this for a training server. Good for a training server. Yeah, that's fine. Training server is fine. If you have a hard mulsim, you want to limit that to medics. Okay, most of these look fine. I'm just gonna select them here so that they apply for all the clients. Okay, that's the medical night vision. You can set this up really high. I like to keep it low so that the night vision doesn't have too much of an effect. If you want to build a really immersive mission, you can push these sliders way up. Happy with that. Good for training. That is immersive if you save the gear. Also, if you build custom loadouts for people, you want to save the gear of that character. A scopes, you want the a scope adjustment. And here you can play around with what the default zeroing should be. Happy with that. I want to take off the ace view distance. It helps with flying and so on. The view distance on foot I like to put on 6 kilometers, or on foot we can put it 3 kilometers or 4 kilometers. Land vehicle, or we can put it on 2.5. It's not going to make a very big difference. The air vehicle, it's good to push that up so that the pilots can have good line of sight. View distance limit, I'm going to put that to 8,000 as well. This one I keep off. If you put on ace view distance, ace tries to change the view distance settings. I haven't always found it favorable, so I like to take that off. I also like to take the ace weather off on a training mission. Ace can go crazy on you. Okay, that's off. Okay, I'm happy with the settings. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to save the settings. I'm going to say basic. Okay, that's saved, and then I say okay. So now my system settings is ready. I know that I can respawn. I know that I can revive someone. I've had a look at my other general settings. I know my weather settings are set up, and now I can start to place units on my map. Okay, let's get started. For this one, we can start with a few NATO units. So for the NATO units, we can put down some soldiers. Let's put down an officer. We can start with the officer here. So this will be a Zeus, and then we can put some teams down. So for teams, you will have your team leader. You can see if I put them down, there's a little line between the infantry unit and the commander. If you want to break that line, in other words, you don't want the rifleman to be in the squad of the commander, you can hold left control and then click on the unit and hold left mouse button, drag it away, and then you will separate that unit. Okay, so I've placed down a team leader. The next one I like is a combat lifesaver. So there's a medic in his crew. Then we can put a rifleman, maybe an anti-tank rifleman. And then we can finish off the squad with a marksman. Here's a marksman. Okay. So this squad, if I want to give this squad a name, I can go to attributes. I can go to role description. So this will be my team leader, and then I will say at ground team. So if I put the at ground team, then everyone in this group will form part of the ground team. And this one I can make officer at command team. I want to make it playable but not the player. That's usually for single players, so I'm just selecting all of them and making them playable. So let me just show you what I just did. Is if I go and I say play in multiplayer, okay, just gonna go back quickly. I don't think I have spawns in, but that's fine. Let's just quickly check it out again. Yeah, now you can see I created a command team for the officer, which will be the Zeus, and because I set under the attribution behind the team leader ground team, everyone in that team will then form part of the ground team for selection. Okay, I'm going back. So that's the ground team. Let's quickly make a helicopter team. Just looking for my helicopter crew. So here's a helicopter pilot. And then I can put in a helicopter crew member for him. I can call this right click attributes pilot. I can call him heli pilot, and then at helicopter team. Again, I want to deselect player because if I start a mission, I don't want to go into that role. I want to be able to select a role, and I also want to make this character playable. Okay, so that's my helicopter team. So again, if I go and say play multiplayer, and I added the helicopter team, I can now see helicopter team here. Going back, and now I can do the same with a pilot squadron. So we are on an island. It's going to be a very far distance to swim to the mainland, so we ideally do want to put some pilots in as well to assist with the air operations. Just looking for the pilot. So here's a pilot. The pilot comes equipped with the parachute. I'm gonna spawn another pilot. Let's make a 4-man squadron. And again, you can arrange them in any order. Just want to take off that this is the player and I'm going to make it playable. If I want to join one of the units placed to, say, this main pilot, I will click on that unit. I will hold left control, left click on him, drag the little line to the team leader essentially, and then release. Again, hold left control, left click, drag to the team leader, release. Click on the player, left control, drag, and release. Then I want to make these selected units playable. So playable, okay. And right click. I'm gonna call this one the lead pilot at pilot team. And then you can do the same with number 2. So that's number 2 in your squadron. Number 3. This one will be number 4. Okay, so this should then be my pilot team. I wouldn't be too bothered about the alpha at the top. This is just the call sign. Alright. So if I go to play, multiplayer, I will see that I now have the pilot team, lead pilot, number 2, 3, and so on. If you want to arrange the numbers correctly, you have to regroup them. So what you would then just do is you have to group them in sequence. Okay, so number 2 will then have to be linked. Number 3 will be linked to number 2. Number 4 will be linked to number 3. Let's see if that worked. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4. So then they are in sequence. Okay, back. Alright, now I've placed my units. The next thing I want to do is I want to place a few extra things in the game. So on this guy, okay, that's fine. So for this one, I'm going to put my game logic in. I'll explain now what I do with the game logic. For the game logic, this will talk to your mission file. So I want to set view distance to say 6000, set object view distance 6000. Okay, so this will force the game to show an object and a view distance of this 6000. Then I just want to place modules down. This is the Zeus module. So where did I get this module? Okay, got it from Systems, Modules, Zeus, Game Master, and I placed it next to my game logic. For the Game Master, I'm going to say Zeus or own Zeus. The owner is hashtag admin logged, and then the name is going to be Zeus. So if I'm logged into the server as the admin, then I will be able to access the Zeus. So you can either do this as admin log. You can also link this module by setting the trigger owner or connecting it to a certain player. Okay, so let's quickly see if that works. So if I go play multiplayer, go to the officer, just going to do a quick test. And what I would see now is that because I said select respawn location and I didn't put down a location, I'm not able to respawn. Okay, so how do I fix this? There's two ways I can fix it. I can either go to my attributes, multiplayer, and deselect the select respawn position, or I can go to my systems, modules, respawn position, and I can make this respawn position name blue 4 base. Who can respawn here? Blue 4. Show to everyone. Notification can be disabled. So you disable those irritating little pop-ups. Okay, let's see if this works. I also like to continually save my game throughout. So let's just see if this little respawn works now. Going to the officer. So I'm expecting a respawn on the map. So this is just showing the map. Then I can select, and now I have a respawn location, and I can say respawn. If I place down additional spawns, I can go and select the specific spawn and click respawn. Now I'm in the game. In the game as the officer, and then if I press Y, I can then access the Zeus module because I have inserted the Zeus module into my mission file for the admin that is logged. Okay, going back. So one thing that I saw is that my radios or my acre isn't working, so I just have to make sure that I put in an acre channel. So for acre, I can put in a basic mission setup, and I can also name channels. So if you put this module in, you can say that channel 1 is called command channel, and this will reflect on your radios. Say this one is ground team, second one helicopter team, third one is pilot team. You can say okay. Basic mission setup, channels per side enabled. Babel language, I don't like the Babel. And then you can set the default radio. This can be a 343 or a 152. Okay, so that's the default radio 1. Default radio 2 can just show you is 152. Then I can say okay. Alright, so I'm testing that. This respawn timer you can also make more or less. So if I press my talk button now, you can see my radio is popping up the bottom right of the screen, so I know my radio is set up on my mission file itself. And to link with your TeamSpeak, you will have to edit the add-on options for your Acre as well. So if I go to Acre 2, I can just override all these. And then here you set this up in your TeamSpeak. So this channel will be called Acre 2, and the channel password, your TeamSpeak channel password will then be whatever you have made that channel password in your TeamSpeak. Okay, so for example that, so I can just say save it again. Alright, now I'm quickly gonna test my mission again, just see if my radio works. And now I can see my radio is working. Right, if I press, I can hear the beep, and I know it's working because I have now connected my mission file with my TeamSpeak. Just to recap, so I'll go into my settings. Just want to quickly show you this cool animation. It's part of this mod set. So if he talks over the radio, his hand automatically goes to his ear. It's one of the small mods I included. It's a cool little animation. So if you look at your team leader and he raises his hand, you know he's on the radio. Cool. Right. So that's the radio setup.
Channel switched.
Okay, so this is the basic mission setup. From here, you can just go and then spawn your vehicles. Important for vehicles, you want to have respawn locations for your vehicles as well, the same you have for your units. So say you want your vehicles to respawn, you'll put down a respawn module. You'll say starting position, rec, just delete, don't like the notifications, and then I click OK. Just want to see that save, starting position, OK. So this in itself is a respawn for vehicles, but they're not necessarily going to spawn yet. You're going to link this module to units that you have spawned in. Okay, so let me put in a few planes here, or I can start with a few helicopters. Let's do a few ghost dogs. I like the ghost dog. If I want to spawn a unit and I don't want the crew to be included, I'll just go to the bottom right and then remove the button that says place crew with vehicles. So I'll spawn in a few ghost dogs. One or two ghost dogs. Okay, and the reason I spawned them here is they can take off into open air and then from here easily fly towards the island. Okay, for the other helicopters, I can put a workhorse in. I like the big helicopters as well. So I can put a nice big workhorse helicopter in. So what is cool with this helicopter is you can sling things below the helicopter. It can also take a lot of troops, and yeah, it's a cool looking machine. Then for some air support, it's good to have some air support. We can spawn 1 or 2 of these Comanche attack helicopters as well. So this is a 2-man crew attack helicopter, very nimble and very heavily armed. Can spawn them in. And then coming back to how the respawn for the vehicle work, right click, gonna say sync to, gonna hold over the vehicle, center of the vehicle, left click, right click on the module, go to the vehicle, left click. This module I can copy and paste, Control C, Control V, and I can also do the same for my helicopters to respawn. If you want your vehicles to be able to rearm and refuel, you can do that by putting in a refuel or rearm module. What I like to do is I like to put in vehicles that I can use for rearming. So I'm just going to find them quickly. There's an ammo truck here. So the ammo truck is useful for rearming your attack helicopters. So we can put an ammo truck. That's our ammo truck. We can also spawn in a repair vehicle, as well as a fuel vehicle. Okay, so now I have my fuel vehicle. It's easy to climb in these vehicles and then just drive towards the vehicle you want to refuel and so on. It makes it easy. Gonna put a respawn module for them as well. And you'll also notice that I put them out of the way of the runway. So for a runway, there will be traffic coming, say, from a hangar, going left down this little service patch and onto the active runway. Depending on wind conditions, I removed the wind for this mission file, but they'll take up into the wind. That reminds me, I can just put a little wind sock here. Wind sock. I can put this one in, but it requires a module, so I'm not going to put that one in. I don't see other windsock, so I'm just going to leave that for now. And then I'm going to spawn some planes for the pilots. Okay, for the pilots on this one, I'm going to put some Harriers down. Ooh, some cool looking planes. Right, so this is a blank Harrier. Doesn't look blank. Yeah, that should be fine. So I'm just going to spawn the Harriers in. And if I want to take a vehicle up or down, I will hold left alt, click on the vehicle with left click and just drag it up. The reason I do this is I don't want a vehicle to spawn into the ground because it may glitch and actually blow up. So I'm just going to click on it, left alt, and drag it up until I see it's above the ground. Okay, so I'm going to spawn Harriers in the hangar. And then the same at the front. So for this to work, you'll have to take them out in the correct sequence. Otherwise, you're going to have a little bit of a situation on your hands. It should be fine. I'm going to include a module for the vehicles as well. Sometimes easier to do this in 2D mode. So I'm just going to sync it up to my planes. Now I know that my planes will respawn as well. It can sometimes glitch, and it may be safer to spawn your planes outside. And a quick way to do that is you can highlight the planes, you can drag them, and then just click away, left click, hold left shift, hold left click, drag the mouse wheel towards the location you want the plane to be looking. And then that way as well you can arrange your planes. Okay. And also move this here. Okay, so now I have some repair, rearm, and refuel. I've got some helicopters, transport helicopters. I've got a big transport and cargo helicopter. I've got 2 attack helicopters. I've got my units spawned. And then from here I can go in and place random objectives along the map. And from there just build out my mission. So my basic mission file is done now, and I can just make sure I save it again. So file save, and just for the fun of it I'm going to do a quick test. So let's take a pilot, spawning at the blue fort base. Got the pilot selected. Now my planes are down there. Helicopters there, and smaller helicopters there. Travel helicopters, transport helicopters, sorry. My rearm, refuel, repair. Nothing in the hangar as I took my Harriers towards the active runway. So here's my Harriers. See if it starts up. Climbing in as the pilot. Check the bird out. Yep, that's the Harrier. Right, then I can open the AMS and I can configure my Harrier. I can put my engine on and see the canopy closing. See what it looks like from the outside. It's cool with the Harriers, you can do a vertical takeoff if you want. And then you're on your way. Ratel turning onto the active runway. Spooling up. Just waiting for my speed to increase. Ratel rotating. And I'm off. Yow. So one of the mods I've included in this mission file is what they call the Vile HUD mod. It's a mod where you can press O and it takes away your HUD. I'm not sure if I have it activated at the moment. Yeah, this is the Molten Island. Currently my plane is in the master on off mode. Can quickly check what the plane looks like. Gear up. It's the area. It's the island. Okay, look around. Good looking island. And because we have ACE enabled, if you do too harsh maneuvers you may black out. Can do some gun runs with the cowl. So I've double tapped left alt just to go into controlling the plane, and I'm going to do a quick gun run here on this compound and off. Also got some sidewinders loaded, Mavericks, laser guided bombs, and a targeting pod. How do I access my targeting pod? Right click. Then I can press Ctrl T to look at an area and deselect it again. Really fun plane to fly. And there's the island I started from. So this is my little mission file. That's the island I built. There's the Harrier that the crew chief is not going to be very happy with. Thank you for watching. You're welcome to comment or ask questions. This is Ratel signing off. Cheers.